Welcome back to the Wild Lab, everybody. My name is Ned Widener, and today I'm taking the mic on a solo episode. And I got just one question for you. When you walk into the woods, do you walk in for conquest or for connection? Let me put this bluntly. The way you hunt is the way you fuck. Now, before you click away, hear me out. This isn't about performance. This isn't about how long you last. This isn't about some uber masculine traits that we all need in hunting and in our sex life. This is about presence. This is about commitment. This is about timing. This is about respect and reverence. This is about relationship, right? Because listen, this is the truth. The same habits that you create in the woods, whether you're hunting or you're fishing or you're climbing or you're whatever, the same ones that you habituate in intimacy as well as the rest of your life. And listen, I get real tired of stories of conquest. We hear it all the time and we see it all the time, especially in the hunting world, right? We see pictures of guys with gripping grins in their fish, right? Or, holding their bucks up, right? Or whatever. We're always proud of the trophy, right? And I get real tired of this, but let me tell you why. Back when I was doing a lot of mountaineering a few years ago, I took an old buddy of mine from Ohio up a mountain in Mount Shasta, up Avalanche Gulch, which is one of the most popular and arguably the easiest routes up the mountain. Anyways, it was his first time climbing any mountain, let alone a 14er, let alone one where you needed crampons and an ice axe and some level of technical ability and route finding to make your way up, although it's relatively easy route. Needless to say, he had a lot of trepidation going up there, and he worked hard, and it took 2 days, and it was a hard-earned summit for sure, right? But it's what happened when he got to the top that really rubbed me the wrong way. When he got to the top, he screamed out, he yelled, and that's great. You should be proud of your accomplishments, right? But then he said 4 words, gave me a high five, and he's like, "We conquered that bitch." And that just didn't sit right with me, man. It didn't jive with what I was feeling, because I don't see mountaineering, I don't see hunting, I don't see fishing, anything as conquering. I see it as connection. I see it as relationality. Now, I don't pretend to know anything about my friend's sex life, and this isn't a podcast about that. But what I do know is that everything that man has done in his life, or everything that I have seen that man have done in his life, is about trying to win. It's about trying to beat an opponent, about trying to be better than someone else. It's been about trying to conquest. And I can only imagine that mentality transfers over to other aspects of his life, including in the bedroom. And look, climbing a mountain of any size, and especially Mount Shasta, right? It's an achievement, and it's something that you should be proud of, but it's not a conquest. She, and by she I mean the mountain, she has to allow you to climb up her. I mean, there's weather, there's avalanche, there's lots of natural things that can happen to stop you from getting to the top. And by using that metaphor, I don't mean to play on any sexual innuendo here, right? Despite the title of this podcast, but climbing, like hunting, like fishing, and like a lot of other outdoor pursuits and all things in life, is relational. It's all about connection, right? So think of it this way. We all know those guys who pound energy drinks, and they talk endlessly about UFC, and they say things like when they're hunting or when they kill a deer or harvest a bear or something, they're like, "I smoked that joker," right? We all know people like that, or we've seen people like that posting whatever, And some years ago, I used to hunt with this guy, and he was just like that. He was one of those guys. He was the kind of guy, when he walked into the woods, man, he broke every branch. He stepped on every twig. He breathed heavy. He smoked cigarettes while he was glassing, and he talked ad nauseum about the biggest bucks that he'd ever killed. he was incorrigible. But needless to say, at that particular point in my life, I needed a few hunting partners. And regretfully, I showed him a few of my old bear spots because I needed somebody to go with from time to time. Anyways, he was lucky enough to harvest a bear from one of my old spots, right? And when he sent me the Facebook post, because I wasn't on social media at the time, I think he took a picture of it or something, right? And he sent it to me. I don't remember the exact words, the exact phrasing, but I remember pretty roughly what it was. He said something like, after 3 days of cat and mouse, after 3 days of cat and mouse, she was dumbly stuffing her face with berries and I smoked her. And now listen, I'm far from the language police, even though I am an English professor. But here's the thing. One thing I do believe is that the way you talk about things, the way we talk about things, right? It says a lot about who we are. It says a lot about how we walk through the world, right? And calling a bear that you hunted for 3 days, right, and got the best of you for at least 2 of them, dumb, to me, is the pinnacle of egoism. And if you ask me, it's a mentality of conquest, and it's not a productive mentality. It's the opposite of relationship, the opposite of connection. It's just this man going into the woods trying to force his will upon it, right? Trying to master it, trying to conquer it. And listen, like, here's the thing. I live in the United States of America. I am no stranger to manifest destiny, go west, young man, right? This mentality, this thinking, it has been pervasive across Western civilization, and to a fault, for sure. And I'm not going to get into to all the negative aspects that have come from this mentality, but it has spawned. I mean, it's done a few good things as well. I'm not going to lie, but it has spawned a large percentage of the problems that we have in our society, ecologically and in our culture. But I'm not going to get into all that. Needless to say, though, I don't hunt with this man any longer. But I bring this story up because there's also this man, this kind of man, eh, who would constantly talk about popping boner pills, constantly watching porn, constantly talk about how much he masturbated every morning. And listen, I know these things because he proudly announced them to the world any chance that he had. And importantly, he treated women with about the same amount of respect that he treated bears, which is to say none. And in life, well, this man was about as miserable as they came. He hated his job, he hated his boss, he hated his parents, he hated everything. He hated his life. And I can't help but draw correlations between the way that man lived and the way that man hunted. And like I said, we all know people like this, and I'm not going to get into why the way things are the way they are. This ain't the episode for that. What matters is the story, is that there is another way. There's a way to move. There's another way to move through the world in connection, in relationship. And see, the man in that story, the hunter, and my friend who climbed Mount Shasta, they had one thing in common, right? Well, they had a few things in common, but they definitely had one thing in common. They were about performance over presence, conquest over connection. And listen, I'm not here to give you relationship advice. This is not a dating podcast. But I am begging the question of, when you are in relationship, how do you show up? And when you do go hunting, how do you show up as a hunter in the woods? Do you show up wanting to get what you want, wanting to win the game, desiring either the person or the game or the date or whatever it is, the potential relationship that you are in? Or is there a deep desire to get to know the person across the table from you, the person on the phone with you, maybe the person on the other side of the computer as you, not just sexually, but emotionally, spiritually, and as another human being? Look, the reality is hunting is a mirror. It's a mirror to intimacy, and it's a mirror to life. And the way I see it, there's 6 ways, 6 metaphors, 6 ways that hunting mirrors life. First is patience. You think about this. Do you rush the shot, or do you wait for the right moment? Think about the way that you make love. Think about the way that you are in sexual relationships, right? There's parallels with foreplay. There's parallels with dating apps. If you think about the way many of us date in this day and age, right? We're swiping left or right, whatever, constantly. And there are constant options put in front of our faces, right? Beautiful man, beautiful woman, beautiful, we're swiping left and right with endless options to this day. What would that be like if you were hunting? Say you're sitting in front of your tree stand, and every 5 seconds, there comes another deer. Oh, there's a 10-point buck. Oh, there's an 8-point buck. Oh, there's a nice 10-point buck, right? Or every, 5 seconds, there was a bear that walked into the berry patch, walked through the water hole. That would indefinitely change the way that you hunt, right? At least I would hope so, right? And so, would you shoot the first thing that you saw? Would you shoot all the things that you saw, right? Because that's the way some people approach dating. We just go for all of them, all at once. Or would you have patience? Would you have patience to wait for the right one to come along? The same thing happens in the bedroom. Do you have patience? Can you build up the edge of arousal, of eros? And then there's a second one, and that's presence. Presence over performance. So the question is, are you there for the memory? Are you there for the connection? Or are you there for the trophy? And look, here's the reality. If you're there for the trophy, man, that's cool. That's all right. But own it. If you're there just to put that buck on the wall, just to mount that fish, just to mount that bear, whatever it is, own it. Own that that's why you are there. You're there for the house. You're there for the trophy wife, the trophy husband, the trophy car, the trophy whatever. That's what you're there for, and that's fine, as long as you own it. And you don't pretend that you are actually there for connection, when in reality, you are just there for the kill. You are just there for the prize. Which brings me to number 3, which is attention. Distracted eyes miss what's right in front of you. And we are constantly distracted. We're distracted by our apps. We're distracted by all sorts of things, right? But when we are distracted, when we're not listening to the signs, the wind in the trees, we're not listening to the signals like the alarm call of the pine squirrel or the bird language that's in our background that's telling us that there is an animal approaching or suggesting to us that perhaps we should move. We miss things. We miss the person in front of us. We miss opportunities. Hell, I did this the other day. I was hunting with a friend at one of my honey holes, quite frankly. I've had a heck of a lot of success in. And we were walking to the spot, and it's a long walk in. And there's a long stretch of country that I just don't really hunt very often. I walk through it a lot, but I don't hunt it a lot. And so we were walking through that section of country pretty rapidly to get to where we were going. And we were talking and we were hiking and we weren't paying attention. I was not hunting. And then out of the corner of my eye, my buddy says, bear. And I look, and there's 3 bear all piled up on this berry patch, this small little berry patch, just a few hundred yards away. But because I wasn't paying attention, because I was not present, I missed the opportunity. We bumped those bears, they were gone. They ran off into the woods, never to be found again. Well, not yet, at least. But the same thing goes in dating, right? If you don't have your attention, it goes when you're in your bedroom. If you don't have your attention on your partner, if you are not present, then you are not there. And let me tell you, when you are present, when you provide attention, let me tell you the power that that can give you. And I think this is number 4, but it's listening. And listening is key. You see, listening, so many of us don't listen. So many of us are waiting for instead of listening, we're waiting for an opportunity to speak. We are simply biding our time so that we can tell our story. But the woods are always speaking. Our partners are always speaking. We have to learn to attune both to the woods when we are hunting and we are tracking, and to our partners when we're in the bedroom. Because here's the thing, and I'm not talking about like just attuning to her words, just to what she says, right? That's important. Yes, listen, but attune to what she's saying with her body, what she's saying with her soul. This is the thing, right? Because we can listen. It's the same thing in the woods, right? We can listen to what's happening around us, but we also have to learn to listen in what's happening inside of us, what our body is telling us, what our intuition is telling us. And you can't do that. So you can't learn to listen to somebody else until you learn to listen to yourself. And the best way that I've found, one of the best ways that I've found to learn to listen to yourself, to learn to attune, is out there, is in the silence of the desert or of the woods or the trees. The woods and trees are rather noisy, but that's where listening happens. And then once you learn how to do that there, then you can bring that into your own life and into your own relationship. And that's the key. The 5th one is reverence. Do you treat sex as sacred, or do you just take? Do you just fuck for pleasure? And are you fucking dozens of women and men at the same time? And if you are, that's cool, as long as you're intentional about it. But I find that most people in that state are not, right? And it's really hard to get to be sacred with another human being if you are doing that. And the same thing goes for hunting. Do you pray to your animal before you take the shot? Before you even go out hunting, do you purify yourself? Do you pray to your animal afterwards? Or do you go in with a bag of Cheetos and cigarettes and beer and like, fuck it, I'm just going in. It ain't sacred, it's just killing. There's a difference. It's different. 2 different mans walking into the woods with 2 different intentions are going to have 2 different experiences and 2 different outcomes. And the same goes for the bedroom. You bring that sacredness into the sexuality. And let me tell you, brothers, it is entirely different and way more powerful. And the last one is commitment. When the moment comes, do you follow your words? Do you follow through fully, or do you hesitate? Do you do what you say you're going to do? Do you commit? Listen, if you aren't ready to commit in hunting, if you walk into the woods not ready to take the life of the animal, not ready to do the work that you're going to do, man, you're going to have a hard day. I mean, you're probably not going to be successful, but you're going to have a hard physical day and likely a hard emotional day. And the same thing goes in dating. Let me tell you, it's a whole different world once you decide you're going to fully commit. If you commit fully to your partner in the bedroom, in dating, it changes the outcome entirely. It changes the act entirely. Because if you are fully there, fully present, fully committed, fully attuned, with full attention on both yourself and your partner, as opposed to playing out some performance that you've seen on from one of the porn sites, or you've seen on a TV show, or heard from your friends, or whatever, or what you think is a performance of masculinity in the bedroom, then I'm here to tell you, you're not going to have as good of a time. Let me say this as clearly as I possibly can. The way you hunt is equal to the way you show up in sex. It's about presence. It's about respect. It's about timing. It's about commitment, follow through, and attunement, both to yourself and to your partner. Now, here's the bigger thing. This isn't just about sex. It's not just about hunting. It never really was, right? The way you hunt is the way you parent. Do you blow up when your kids make a noise, or do you breathe through it like you do in the woods and smile and teach your kids a lesson about what silence is for? The way you hunt is the way you work. Do you rush every shot at the first opportunity, or do you scatter yourself in 15 different directions, trying to do all the things all at once? Or do you stay on one trail and you follow it until it yields something real? The way you hunt is the way you argue. Do you come in hot, firing, even before you can see your target clearly? Or do you hold your tongue? Do you watch? Do you listen? Do you attune? And then speak with precision? The way you hunt is the way you pray. Do you treat the woods as sacred? Every track, every sound, every feeling, every dawn rising over that ridge? Or do you stumble through blindly with a head full of noise? See, hunting is training. I firmly believe that. It's not about filling a tag. I mean, that's nice, and it's good, and it's important to eat. But it's about building the muscles of patience, of presence, of reverence, of commitment, and of attention. Because out there, in the silence of the woods, you see who you really are. And if you pay attention, the hunt teaches you how to live. So listen, I want to give you some practical takeaways for how you can take these lessons from the woods into your life. And this, again, these go for whether you're hunting, whether you're making love, whether you're raising kids, whether you're working, just trying to make your way through the day. The first thing is wait longer than you think you need to. Pause. Be present. Out in the field, on the ridges, that means sitting with the discomfort. That means sitting with the discomfort in life, too. I think you know this by now. It means letting another 10 minutes pass before you go back to the truck, before you move. Especially when every part of you wants to move, because it's uncomfortable. It's not where you want to be. In life, it means breathing before you answer. It means holding the silence, not rushing to fill the space. Because here's the thing, the pause is power. Absolute. Number 2 is notice what you usually miss. So pay attention to the wind. Pay attention to the way the shadows move across the sky. Pay attention to the rhythm of your partner's breath. Pay attention to the rhythm of your partner's heartbeat. The tone behind your kids' words. Listen, the wild is always speaking. It's speaking inside of you right now. It's speaking out there. But so is the person in front of you. So is the person in the bed with you. But presence sharpens when you attune to the subtleties. And remember, you can attune out there and bring it in here. And number 3, follow through like it matters, because it does. It does. When the moment comes, take the shot. Don't hesitate. Not half-hearted, not second-guessing. Full-throated, fully committed, because out there, hesitation can wound instead of kill. And anyone who has ever wounded an animal knows that is one of the worst things that you can possibly do. spiritually, emotionally, all the ways. In here and in relationship and in the bedroom, hesitation can fracture trust. It can fracture intimacy. It can fracture purpose. It can fracture an entire relationship. So commit fully with your whole self, or don't commit at all. Come fully or don't come at all. Listen, these aren't just hunting skills. I think you realize this by now. If you listen to this podcast long enough, hunting just ain't about hunting to me. Fishing ain't just about fishing to me. It's about much greater things in life. These are human skills, and the hunt gives you a place to practice it. Like I said, hunting is a training ground. Gives you a place to practice it so that you can bring it home to be in relation, because that's what we're here for. Listen, I'm going to say it again. The way you hunt is the way you fuck. The way you love, it's the way you live. Out in the woods, you can't fake it. The silence reveals everything. The hunt shows you who you are. Are you patient or restless? Are you reverent or careless? Are you present or are you distracted? Here's the thing. Hunt like it matters. Love like it matters. Fuck like it matters. And live like it matters. Because it does. I want you to sit with that. I want you to sit with what habits from the hunt carry over into your relationships, your work, your life. And then send me a DM. Drop me a message. Hit me up on Instagram at Step Into Your Wild. Go on over to my website at stepintoyourwild.com. And listen, if you want to do some of this real work, you want to drop in deeper, hit me up. I'm pretty full. I'm very full. In fact, all of our retreats, our hunting retreats are full this fall. But I got room for a couple men that want to drop in deeper in the woods. You want to learn about presence. You want to learn about attunement. You want to learn about the ways in which hunting can make you a better human. Hit me up. Let's get out in the woods together. So until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and stay wild.